Hi guys, and welcome to Console's autumn release webinar. We're really excited to be here. This is our first webinar for the year, so always great to come and show you what we've been working on over the last quarter and what we're planning on doing for the next quarter. For those who don't know me, I'm Matt. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at Console. Sitting next to me is Em.
Hello, everyone.
Who's our product training lead, and sitting next to Em is TJ, our head of product.
Everyone.
Guys, before we get started, I'm just going to do a bit of housekeeping. So there's a lot of you online. If you're wanting to ask a question throughout the webinar, you see something that you might like to get a bit more information on, please use the Q&A button down the bottom right-hand corner. So we're expecting 1,000 people on. The numbers, I'm just watching them tick up. So lots of questions. We'll get around to them as quick as we can. We've got a few people from our product team and our customer success team answering those questions. If there's something more specific or like you want to dive into something a little bit more further, we're happy to organize further demonstrations of those products and capabilities. So let's get into it. We're going to just start with a quick recap. When we were here in December, basically what we promised we would be going out to build and deliver this quarter. Now, we had a few goals in mind. The first one was to address some key customer feedback. Now, for those of you on cloud, cloud feedback is the place to log that feedback. We take it really seriously. It informs a lot of our roadmap, and it's reviewed by our teams every week. For those of you who are not yet on cloud, as you're talking to your sales rep or interacting with our support team, we actually also log that feedback to make sure that we're delivering solutions that are going to help you make the decision to move to Console Cloud. So that's customer feedback. We're going through those items. A key promise of our product is to give you more time back in your day. So Em's going to be demonstrating some enhancements to one of our most popular and powerful workflows. TJ's going to be demoing one of our other key goals, which was to give you property management on the go, like in the palm of your hand, as we like to talk about it. And for our larger agencies online, well, it's not very easy to demo. I will just touch on our open API and how that gives you more flexibility to run your agency as you like. So this was our roadmap from last quarter. So this is where in December, we said we were taking the product. There's some trust accounting capabilities there. So some next generation improvements to reconciliation and receipting, advanced fund management, especially with holds for creditors and fees. End of financial year is really topical. Before we know it, it'll be July. We've had some enhancements already to our end of financial year statements, and we've got some more scheduled this quarter that TJ will talk to. Customizable owner statement email templates. So it was owner statement emails were one of the first things we built in Console Cloud 4 years ago. And this is one of the key bits of feedback that we've received. So TJ will be demoing that today. Invoice arrears I've touched on. Console Go Inspect, we'll be demoing that. For our WA users, really appreciate you guys are online. It's very early over there, but we've made some updates to the condition report for Console Go Inspect. While we won't be demoing that, that's available in your app now. We'll be showing you some of the push notifications in the Tenant App, just to keep your tenants informed about what's happening around the property. We've made some user experience changes, and also some communication changes that we'll be demoing today. Look, these demos, we do whiz around a fair bit. There's a lot to show. Thought I'd just quickly give you a bit of the rationale for some of the key things we'll be talking about. The new property list. So basically we're collapsing 3 menus. And we feel it's our obligation to give you a modern, simplified user interface. For those of you online who are looking to move to Console Cloud, we appreciate you probably coming from systems that haven't had an update in a decade. And that's not a philosophy that we operate under. We want to use any enhancements or new technology that's coming out to make you more efficient and to give your business a competitive advantage. So look, the property list is the start of a longer journey, but it's simple, it's modern, and yeah, we're leveraging new technology that wasn't around 4 years ago when we released the property page the first time around. Invoice arrears, again, our rental arrears workflow is one of our most powerful workflows. It's really transformed the amount of funds collected on time for our customers, and that's a really key promise of our product. And we've enhanced that workflow to also do invoice arrears, top feedback item, and then we'll be demoing that today. We're really excited about this one, Console Go. Look, part of our promise to you is to put property management in the palm of your hand. And that's just the evolution of technology. You know, first we had desktop-based bits of software, then we had cloud-based. We want to give you everything you need now in an app. We think it's a key retention tool for your agency, because now your PMs, they can be on the road and they can be completing their job while they're waiting in line for, you know, a coffee or a drink, whatever time of the day it might be. Console Tenant, again, like we've seen a really big spike in people using our Tenant app, and part of that has been caused by COVID. Like, it's a key tool for keeping your tenants up to date, which means that you don't have to be, you know, sending out individual emails, having phone calls, and we've made some enhancements to, you know, basically keep your tenant up to date with important events around the property. Console Pay, like, it's a really powerful workflow. It's a really powerful workflow within our product. We're processing $500 million a year in that particular item, and it really just the enhancements we've made to Console Tenant just really close the loop on that particular workflow. So we're really excited to be showing that throughout the webinar. And I think that's enough of me talking, because I'm losing my voice. I'm going to continue talking. Actually, we're going to jump straight into the demo. And we're going to start with the property page. So our existing customers, you've already seen this update. So the property page has been updated. We're continuing to take feedback. There's a few little enhancements that we've made. As I mentioned before, we're really collapsing the agreements and property page into one. And our future vision is to, you know, remove the workflow items here and place them within this property page so that they become a sub navigation. Couple of highlights. You can now hover over this list and you can get the details of the PM. So I can see that this property is managed by TJ. This one's managed by Helen. So again, just leveraging that technology within the app, within the browser. And if I come down here, this particular item, so my 200 Adelaide Street, I can also see that I've got a part payment of $823. So my pay to date is to the 31st of August, and I've got this part payment. If I just hover over that, I can actually get an effectively pay to date as well. So just some, you know, key bits of information on the screen and available to you. Really beautiful page. You've got your ellipses here to check in keys, check out keys. And I'll show you how they work with the filters. And I'll just click on those now. So one of the bits of feedback we got was just to, you know, start providing some advanced filtering options. And this is just the start. So these are the filters that are currently available. So tenancy expiry, vacate, rental amounts, keys, whether they're checked out, compliance, if anything has no compliance date, and categories, which is something that we released 2 quarters ago. I'm just going to use the keys checked out and apply that to my list. I can see the filters that are applied. So these are the breadcrumbs that let you know where you are in the system. And these are all my properties with keys checked out. And I can click these ellipses, and, you know, if I'm in the front office, I can just check those keys back in as they come back in. This one actually has quite a few, so I'll just check them all in. And that property will drop off the list. Look, the future is more filters. We're going to continue to add additional filters as additional capabilities released in the system. But again, like, we're receiving really good feedback on this, this particular list, and there's more enhancements to come. I will just call out global search.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to add, Matt, that you know, the design team worked really hard on making sure that we consolidated all the information that you can see in the ownership pages and tenancy pages into this one single place. So you have all that info in one place.
Yeah. Look, longer term, we want your new staff to be able to really, you know, navigate the system really quickly, and making sure it has a really beautiful user experience is a key part of that. Just for especially our front of house teams working in property management. So if you're working in reception and you've got a call in looking for who's the property manager for a particular property, the fastest way to actually do that is to use our global search. And this is a powerful part of the system that in some ways is a little underutilized. So if I just search that, I can just actually bring up a property really quickly and get who the property manager is. I can search for an owner. I might have someone Smith on there, and I can see, it's Bob Smith, the owner. I can quickly click that page and go to that property and get the property manager details. It's less clicks, it's fast, and really powerful within our system. I'm going to hand over to Em now to chat about invoice arrears.
Thank you very much. Hello, guys. So for all of our clients, actually, we've simplified and enhanced the arrears workflow. And for our premium customers, we now have the ability for invoice arrears management. So in comparison, I will just call out to some other competitors for our arrears workflow. Rent and invoice arrears are actually treated separately. So when you're seeing that you have those tenancies in arrears, they're always very accurate. So you can trust that process there. So this was actually one of the top 3 feature suggestions to add to our cloud. So it's a really huge time saver for our property managers and not manually chasing up all those late payments. So it's lovely. Now, if I scroll down onto the dashboard, the first thing you'll notice that's changed is our little percentage here. So here I can see my rent arrears percentage, and I can see at a glance how many people I currently have 1 to 3 days in arrears, 4 to 7 days, and 8+ days. So let's hope you're not quite at that stage. And then if I scroll across, I now have my invoice arrears percentage as well with those same features. So the beauty of this is I can say, well, I know I only really want to manage those 30+ ones. I can just click on that, and that's going to filter straight away my at a glance. And what I see are all of those tenancies that are in arrears for 8+ days or 30+ days. So it's a nice new clean look and feel. You can change this at a glance as well. You can search down here using the search bar. You have still the option to export if need be. And as I actually click on any one of these items, what I see is all the information about this arrears. So I can go straight to the tenancy as well. So it's all the information I really need all in this one screen. So I'm not actually moving across into different screens or different workflows. I'm doing everything I need to right here. So as I scroll down, I can see that they've got some rent arrears, some and a lot, and they're also got some invoice arrears. Now I've got the option to do an individual message. So if I choose this invoice arrears reminder, it's actually going to attach then all of their outstanding arrears for me as well. So I don't have to go back and generate those, and I can just quickly send that. What happens when I send it? It's automatically saved to my timeline, so I know exactly what's going on. And if I wanted to go away on holidays, as we all do, then my colleague can jump in here and see exactly where they're up to. I can also add any notes or anything as well relevant to this particular one. And the beauty of this is, like I said before, it's an all-in-one workflow. So I can go ahead and create forms through here as well. So I can send them a remedy breach, or if they really need to go, then we can go send them a notice to leave and choose your template through your RealWorks integration as well and your expiry date. And creating that will open that form and again, save it all to your timeline. So it's beautiful and succinct. So what I will show you as well is those auto reminders. So you may have noticed that I had a little pause option on that toggle where I've turned off auto reminders for this particular tenancy. And I can see it straight away calls it out in this view as well. And I can also filter that to show everyone that I've disabled if I need to re-enable it. Now, what I will call out with your auto reminders as we start to look at the automation of this is for console pay users, the arrears workflow will actually recognise payments that have been made and not cleared, and tenants won't receive a reminder if that's the case. So they don't have to be in your trust account, or they don't have to be receipted for console to actually recognise that, which is great. So your rent arrears automation and your invoice arrears automation are both treated separately. So here I can actually set up my preferences for my rent arrears office procedure. So I can go ahead and say, okay, well, on the first day, it's just a nice gentle reminder. On the third day, we get a bit more aggressive, and I can continue that on as far as I need to. I can continue to add as many line items as I need. And now I have that option for invoice as well. So going to edit preferences, I have that same layout. I can choose to send it at any time of day. It might be first thing in the morning, a little good morning message, or it might be later in the day. So you have that, that ability. And as you see as well, the whole UI of it and the look and feel is more consistent with our cloud workflows too.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Like, what would you say the major differences are between this workflow and, other workflows in market?
Well, I would say it's an all-in-one. So like we saw before, we're really not going into any other screen. I can see everything I need to. I can communicate with my owners, with my tenants, and I can actually set and forget it. So I can set this, go off, have a holiday, do my routines, and I know that all my arrears are done. And it's really only the exception that I'm managing. And it also just has that little bit more knowledge, accuracy, and those sort of things, like with the console pay users, where it just sets it against the rest.
Yeah. Thanks, Sam. I'll probably just say, like, for any existing console cloud user, if you want to know like some of the templates that work the best and some of the processes that work the best, please reach out to your customer success manager, and they'll be able to explain like the specific recipes that work really well in collecting rental arrears and keeping those rental arrears down.
Yeah, I just want to point out, I just saw a question in the Q&A that some of you can't see this new workflow. That's because it's going to be released very soon. It's probably about a week away. And once it's released, you'll see the arrears with the little new tag next to it. And look, arrears and invoice arrears in particular has been in the top 3 feedback in feature upvote for quite a while now. So we're pleased to be finally able to close it off, which shows that, we're taking on board your feedback.
Definitely.
Thanks, Emma. All right, so we might move on to the next part of the demo, which is Console Go and some of the improvements that we made there. So just bear with me while I quickly switch to my phone here. It's always a bit risky doing a live demo on your phones, but we're going to run with this. All right, so as Matt mentioned earlier when he was talking about what we said we'd deliver in our roadmap, one of the main things was focusing on Console Go as a true companion app to Console Cloud, so that you have access to Console Cloud while you're on the go. So we know that smartphones and apps are part of everyone's lives right now. So we believe that both the Console Go and Console Tenant apps will benefit not just you as property managers, but also your tenants. Anyway, we'll start with Console Go and have a look at some of the improvements that we've made. So if you can see my phone here, I'll just bring it down to the middle. It won't let me, we'll just leave it there. So I'll open up Console Go and go right to the beginning. Let me just close this. I was in the middle of something. Some of the improvements that we've made is in the search area. So if I tap on search, you'll notice that if I go back here and back again to the main screen, let me cancel out of that. We've now grouped the search area into properties and people, whereas previously this was just an empty list. Now I can actually scroll through all my properties and contacts based on these groups. So for instance, if I want to see all my residential properties, I can tap on residential and then go through that list. And we've also improved the type ahead search as well. So as I'm typing, I can see that it's showing my results straight away. So it's a lot faster for me to now search for properties. Plus, I don't have to guess for what the properties are. I can quickly just search them. And while I'm in here, I can also see more information about the property that is also available in Console Cloud. So firstly, the ellipses up here will allow me to view property details. So I've got access to all the important info about this property right here. And I can also get the details on the owners and tenancies by just tapping on these. So these are actually links. If I tap on that, that's now taking me to the ownership page where I can view the owner's details, including all the fees that as per their management agreement, as well as the maintenance instructions, which is pretty cool. So I don't have to jump into Console Cloud on my phone. I can just use the app now, which works completely offline. The tenancy section allows me to view all the tenants' details, which is handy if I'm at a property right there and I need to look up the tenant's lease details. All this information is right here on my phone, which is awesome. In addition, you can also go and look through your inspections, maintenance, and notes attached to this property. So for right now, I can see all my open as well as previous inspections, and I can go into the actual inspection itself, edit the report, view the report, and even send out the report directly from here. Now, this is new, by the way. So if I'm sending a report out to my owners and tenants, or even both of them, we can now include and exclude photos as part of this process, which is a nice way to keep the size of attachments down so that they can actually get sent by emails. I'm just going to go back to this page here, and in maintenance, you can see all maintenance events that happen here for this property. And also want to point out that this little plus symbol up here allows you to create new maintenance as well as inspections for not just the properties that you're inspecting on the day, but any property at any time. So you no longer have to jump into Console Cloud to create your inspections and maintenance beforehand. You can actually do that in Console Go now.
Yeah. So TJ, if you take a call from an owner and you're out and about, you can also log a note. You can schedule inspection, log maintenance, do all those things, answer any key questions about that property.
Yep.
With the information just at your fingertips.
Yeah, everything that you need to get through your job is right here. Just to touch on notes. So if I go into notes here, you can see I can access all my notes that are currently captured in Console Cloud, as well as, like Matt pointed out, create a new note. So I can create a new one. While I'm in here, I can also edit and delete existing notes and also pin them. So if I pin a note here, that gets pinned in Console Cloud as well. So if I jump to that same property now in Console Cloud, I'll see that note right at the top. So as you can see, we're starting to slowly but surely add more features and functionality that Console Cloud has into Console Go, so that eventually you'll be able to do everything that you can in Console Cloud in the app. Finally, under the people section, this is where I can view my contact details for the owners and tenants and call them if I want to, as well as access their contact details. This is probably a nice segue to go into some of the new improvements that we've made to inviting owners and tenants to the portal and apps. So right now I'm looking at this owner right here, and I can see that they actually haven't been signed up to the Console owner portal. So we've sent an invite a few days ago, but they had never signed up. I can now send them an invite directly from here, which will send them the invitation again, which is great. And we've done the same thing for tenants as well. So if I go to my tenant and look up Joshua, I can see that in his case, he's actually signed up to Console Pay. So he was connected back in March and has been set up, but he hasn't been set up on the Tenant app. So I can send my invites to him from here. And because Joshua happens to be an owner of a property as well, I can send out invites at the same time for the owner portal. So previously something that you could only do in Console Cloud, you can now do in the app as well.
Yeah, probably really handy just to point that out. If you've taken a call from that particular tenant, to also see that they're a related owner, just on the same screen.
Yeah, you can see that the relationship's right there. So next, we're going to take a look at, let me just look through my notes, make sure I didn't miss anything important. I think I covered the key ones there. We actually have a few enhancements for Apple-only users. So I might actually get Emma to share her phone so we can take you through some of that.
Right. The risk of the phone share. Here we go. One moment.
Yep. Let me just stop sharing first. Okay. All yours.
Thank you. All right. Here we go.
Make sure you've got the mic. And...
Yeah, you can hear me okay. Testing. All right. So for our iOS users, what we actually have under our settings, you'll see there's a call identification option now. So when I have that set on, and you can see it's been last updated this morning, it actually means that it's going to pick up all my contacts that I have in Console Cloud without me having to go ahead and save them all in my actual phone. And it's going to let me know who's calling me. So I no longer have to do those fieldings of, oh, do I know that person? Who's that going to be? We can see straight away it's that owner we don't want to talk to, and we can happily ignore it. So what we'll actually do, I'm going to go to contacts. And you'll see here, I don't actually have to see his number in there. So if he did try to call me, we did try to do it live, except for privacy, it doesn't let us see it. So what you can actually see is to see if his number coming up there, or letting me know that it's actually to see who's calling me.
Now, please don't save that number.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think of that, actually. So sorry about that. Everyone now knows his number. All right, so that's for our iOS users. So you have that option to do so there. What I'll actually point out as well is the zoom and the annotations as well for Absolutely. Your photos. So when I'm actually in an inspection, if I jump in here and I'm going to go into a photo. So I'm going to take a photo. Oh, so we can see we've got an unapproved tenant over there. Oh, sorry, that's a bit blurry. So from there, I have the option to do a markup. So here's where I can sort of circle around it. Oh, yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? Yeah. So we can save that. Now we have the option to actually create this as a copy, or if we want to, we can replace the existing photo. So I'm going to go ahead and create a copy. So I've still got that original one. When I go back, I can see all of those photos will then be saved against my room. So I can go ahead and click done. So there they are there. So I have that option, not only of the zooming as well, but also the annotations there. So we all know how we like to, if you've got your pens on your iPads, it's probably going to be a lot nicer than my little circle there, but we do our best.
Yeah. So if you're doing an inspection M, basically you want to highlight something that you've commented on, you can have both the clear photo and the marked up photo.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, it's only available on iOS at the moment.
Yeah, the actual marking up of photos, as Emma showed you, is iOS only, and both photos will be included in the final condition report that goes out to your owners and tenants.
That's right.
Well, thanks, Em. And look, as you can see, Console Cloud is more than just an inspections app. It's actually Console Go. Sorry, it's designed to be a full companion app to Console Cloud. And even though we didn't really go into the inspections workflow in a lot of detail this time, we have done previously. It's actually, in line and in keeping with some of the industry leading paid inspections app in market today. So, but fully and deeply integrated with Console Cloud. And, we hope that you all take advantage of it as soon as you can. Okay, so we'll jump into the next app that we've got, which is the Tenant App. So I'm going to share my screen back again. And we'll make this big. There we go. All right, so for the Tenant App, which is the console tenant, this is a dedicated app for your tenants, and some of the improvements that we've made will help them keep them in the loop on key important events, so that they're not having to contact you each time, and you're not having to notify them manually when things are happening. Plus, we've also made it really easy now for tenants to onboard themselves to the Tenant App, and I'm going to show you both. So the first one we'll take a look at is what we call real-time push notifications. So as long as you have the Tenant App installed and activated and signed up, you will now receive push notifications. So I'm going to swipe downwards. Hopefully there's nothing questionable here. That's all good. So we've got 2 push notifications there. One is that a maintenance request was completed, and I can see that there's a little status there with the update. And I can also see that I've received an invoice that's due for payment in a couple of days, which is great. Now I actually had the app closed, and so I get these push notifications. We also send out push notifications from Console Cloud when you send out automated inspection reminders. So as long as, if I just jump back into Console Cloud real quick, as long as Console Cloud's inspections workflow has automation turned on, which will send out auto reminders. So currently it'll send out reminders based on these settings, whatever you configure, which goes out as an SMS, in addition to a push notification as well. So I should receive a third one, hopefully later today for this one, which reminds me of an upcoming inspection. So just another example of how we're allowing you to communicate with your tenants and send reminders through multiple channels, not just email and SMS. So if I tap on one of these events, let's take a look at the maintenance one, for example. I'm just going to tap that now. That'll take me into the Tenant App and straight into the maintenance request, where I can view the details. And I can see that this job here has been created, and I can see that. That's great. Now, when I go back to the main screen in the Tenant App, for those of you that haven't seen the Tenant App before, this is how it looks. So you can see right now I'm looking at the highlight screen, which shows me all the key events relating to this tenancy that I'm renting right now. I can see my agency's contact details right here. I can view my last payments and whether they were successful or not, as well as the most recent maintenance events there as well. And finally, and we've shown this previously, our paperless inspections capability allows tenants to review and confirm acceptance of their entry condition reports. Just to show you this very quickly, if I tap on this review now button, that'll take me into, you can see in this case, the tenant has, he's
missed the time frame.
I've missed the time frame to actually complete the review. Otherwise, I'll be able to go in and view the comments and photos that the property manager took at the time of the inspection, and then either agree or disagree.
And the property manager has that availability to change those dates as well. So if they have missed it, you can always go back in there and update it. So
that's correct. Yes.
If need be.
Yeah. By default, it's set to 3 days from today, but you can change that to any time in the future. In the maintenance section over here is where you can view all the maintenance requests for this property. And then I'll just quickly go into the payments section, which is probably relevant given that we received an invoice due for payment. Before we get to the invoices, let me just show you the paid section over here, where I can see all my invoices and rent and everything else that has been paid successfully. Furthermore, I can get access to my receipts from here as well. So if I tap on this, I can go into the share button and then download a copy of that receipt, which is handy for tenants. They're not having to, contact you to get all this info. They can get it directly from the app. In the Pay Now section, these are invoices that are currently due. So tenants can keep abreast of all their outstanding invoices. And if they want to pay these invoices, provided that they signed up to Console Pay, which is the direct debit solution that Emma mentioned previously, if we've got Console Pay signed up and activated for this tenant, I can open up this invoice and I can pay that invoice straight away by tapping on the Pay Now, which will confirm payment and debit the funds based on the payment method that's been configured for this tenant, whether it's by direct deposit or direct debit, or by credit card.
And that just really closes the loop, TJ, on payment and receipting throughout the system. So not only can you be collecting your rent through direct debit, having that automatically matched in the receipting profile, but if your tenant is signed up and they're receiving an invoice, at the click of a button, they can pay it. Keeps your invoice arrears down, your rental arrears down, and it's a product we're seeing a lot of growth in, especially with all these things connected together, apps and notifications and arrears management.
That's right. And look, we're trying to put as much ownership back to the tenants to maintain this as much as possible. So we even added the ability for them to update their payment details. If I tap update up here, I can now, as a tenant, update my payment details either using credit card or bank accounts. So they can change that directly within the app so that they don't have to contact you to make these changes in Console Cloud.
It also gets rid of that risk of entering the wrong number when they're calling you or they're doing those things as well.
That's right. So there's a bit of risk management there too. Now, for the next part, I am going to sign out of this app and show you how easy it is for new tenants to sign in. So I've now signed out of the app, and in Console Cloud, I've now sent out an invite to this tenant. I'm going to switch to my emails. Bit risky doing this. There we go. So we've got an email there that's come through from my real estate agent, which is Acme Real Estate. And if I open up the email, you'll see that it's addressed to me, and I've got a link here to download and install the Tenant app. Now, if I haven't got the app already installed on my phone, that'll take me straight into the App Store or Play Store, where I can download and install the app. Given I've got the app already downloaded, I'm just going to tap the link, and that'll take me straight into the app and link me to the relevant property. So you can see there, it's actually connecting me to this property, which I'm the tenant of. And when I hit the get started, we've pre-filled all the details of the tenant already. So at this point, all the tenant has to do is just set up their password. I'm going to reuse an existing password that I've got, and that's it. That's all I need to do, just create a password, hit done, and it creates the account and logs me straight into the app like that. So
again, we're just using, leveraging, new and improved technology just to make this process so much more simple for your tenants. So you're not having to field questions about why a tenant can't log into the system, why they can't create an account. It's really simple. It's industry standard. And it's probably one of the reasons we're seeing a lot of uptake over the last 3 to 4 months of this app.
That's right. We're just reusing patterns that we've seen in very popular apps and smartphone apps. So nothing new here, but I guess we have been observing through analytics that a lot of tenants tend to drop out at the sign-up process when they're creating an account. And when we dug deeper, it was because you had to add all those details manually. And so we've just made it as simple as possible. You just create a password and you're in. And now as a tenant, I can get notified about this property, which is pretty cool. So all these, features combined gives tenants full access to their property so that they can view information about their property. They can interact with you through maintenance and inspections, and also view, important lease details about their property, all through the smartphone. Okay, that's enough of the Tenant App. So we'll jump back now to Console Cloud and take a look at some of the other quality of life improvements that we've added, particularly around communications. So the first one, which was, and I think I closed it off this morning, but it was the number one product feedback around being able to send emails to third parties as BCC or CC. So to do that, I'm going to need the keyboard, Matt, if you don't mind.
Sorry.
Thank you. To do that, I'm just going to open up, look up one of my owners. That's moi. And in this case here, I'm going to send a message to myself. And in this messaging drawer, you'll see that there's a link here called CC BCC. And this is where you can now copy in anyone to this email message. So it doesn't have to be a contact in the system. You can actually start typing in random emails, like, random@email.com, for example. Or, sorry, I'm used to a Mac and this is a Windows PC, so I'm pressing the wrong buttons. There we go. All right. So, or I can also search for contacts. So for example, if I want to send this to my accountant, I can start typing in accountant and I can find the accountant there as a contact. In addition, if I'm planning to be going away, for example, I want to copy in one of my other property managers, I can look them up. And as long as they're in there as a user, I can copy them in. The BCC works exactly like how Outlook and Gmail works. You can copy them in, but then the recipient won't actually see their emails in here as well. So pretty powerful stuff. And more importantly, once you've sent this email, so you can see I've actually copied these parties into this email. I'm going to select a very simple template. That'll do. Hit send. That's now been sent to all contacts. Meanwhile, if I go into the communications log, you'll see that the email has been sent. These parties have been copied. These parties have been blind copied. And if I scroll down, you can see that 4 email deliveries have been made. Finally, you can also view that on the timeline as well. So if I look up my account or profile and go into my communications timeline, I can see that email has been tracked and recorded there, which is just extra bit of safety and audit trails when you're sending out communications. So this was the number one product feedback for quite a while. So that's been now closed, done, and is available to all of you to use as of today. Well, the last few days really. And the next one we'll take a look at is another one that's been hotly requested by you guys, which is being able to copy in secondary or multiple email addresses to owner statements. So let's look up the same contact, in this case, me, and I'm going to go into my owner contact. So in this case here, I'm an owner tied to 13 properties. They're all fake. And you'll see that if I go and edit, as long as I've got multiple email addresses, if I scroll up here, so you can see now I've got 3 emails. So I've got myself and my accountant and my lawyer. Now, if I want my statements going out to all of these addresses, or as long as they're in here as additional emails, back in the main contact page, you'll see that there's a little view preferences link here under each email, which tells me whether they receive owner statements or not. So I'm going to go into each one, and you can see that you can now CC owner statements for each email address. So I can do it for this one. So my accountant can receive statements for all these properties. And I can also do it for as many email addresses as I want. And I may turn it off for my lawyers, for instance. So only my accountant will get statements, my lawyers won't, which is just a great way for you to quickly set up preferences for your owners so that multiple emails will now get statements as well, which was something that has been asked for quite a while, and it's now available to you guys as well.
Just to point out on that one as well, when you have multiple emails in there already, it's not going to be set to on as the preference. So it'll be off until you select otherwise.
That's right. Thanks for pointing that out. And then the last one, which is something that has also been on the cards for quite a while. And this one is owner statement email templates. And the reason why we've had to sort of go back and rework this a bit is because the work that we did around this part here causes us to have to do a bit of rework in the other bit. So I'm just going to switch to my laptop because it's in a different environment. And this work is currently in progress, and that's being able to edit owner email templates. So I'm going to cast from my laptop now.
Yeah, just while TJ's doing that, it was one of the first email sending options that we provided in Console Cloud 4 years ago. Obviously, we've been building out quite a large system over that time, and now we've been able to come back around to our customers and look at that feedback and address this particular problem. So you'll now be able to edit your statement emails, and TJ's about to show you how and the options available to you.
That's right. So this is still in development, but it's very close to being finished. And when it's released, which will be very soon, in settings, if you go into templates, you'll now see owner email statement templates in here as templates that you can now manage. And to quickly get to them, you can click on filters and change the category to owner statement single property, owner statement multiple property. So you can see there's two types of templates that you can now customize. So let's take a look at this first one and hit apply. So you can see this is the email template that gets sent out with your statements. And if you click on the edit button, you can now change this to suit your needs. So we've got merge fields in here that allow you to quickly add merge fields, just like every other communication template. So in this case here, I've got property address as a merge field and statement period as a merge field. If you really want, you can also add statement number in here. And to preview an example of what that looks like, you can click on the show example. And that is an example there. So you can customize this to suit your needs. Additionally, you can now include attachments as well. So a lot of you have asked for the ability, for example, to add newsletters to outgoing statements. You can now add them in here in this template. So in this case here, for every statement that gets emailed to my owners, they're going to receive a Console Cloud brochure. That's just me. But that's for single properties. Now, if the owner has multiple properties, we do have a separate template for that. And the reason for that is because we are now listing on multi-property statements. They get a list of all the properties that the statement applies to. So there's a new merge field for that, and it's called statement property addresses. So if you add that in here, it'll list like this in list form all the properties that this email is relating to. So you've got two different email templates that you can customize and to suit your business. And we're hoping to have this released in the next week or so. So I thought I'd show that guy to you today because it is something that we have been working for quite a while, and we're pleased to be able to demo that today. And look, that's the end of the live part. So I'm going to switch back to Matt and the presentation. So just bear with me. Thanks.
So guys, we'll just turn off Air Server.
Yeah, just double click that. Yeah, there you go.
All right, guys, just going to quickly just touch on API. And look, it's definitely more relevant to larger agencies, but it's just part of the evolution of products and how systems can talk to each other. So we talk about why infrastructure matters. API is basically your information, having access to your information through a digital means to transfer that information to other systems. When you kind of look at the history of technology, we started off with some server-based trust accounting platforms. We have these legacy cloud solutions that are currently in market. And really the next generation and where we position Console Cloud is to allow you to integrate and connect multiple systems. So an open API is the term that people use. And if you've got any technologists in your business, they'll understand what that means. But it actually allows you to transfer data between platforms. So if you're a larger agency and looking to build out other solutions on top of your property management software, an API is the type of product that allows you to do that. It doesn't get a lot of chat in our webinars, but I think it's just important for you to know that it's there, and we're getting more and more, especially enterprise type customers, looking to get these solutions. I'm going to go on to just the roadmap for the end of the financial year, and we're going to have a sneak peek at a capability that a lot of especially our gateway clients have requested, post their upgrade to Console Cloud. So TJ's just touched on the owner statements. These are quality of life, and these are quality of life improvements for you. We're very conscious that, we serve property managers. We take your feedback really seriously. And, this is feedback that's being collected by our teams that we're actioning, every month. So statements, we're going to give notes a bit of a supercharge and add some additional capability there. So you can add attachments and tags. For example, like if you're logging a call, you'll be able to note that against a note. The ability to archive and delete unused contacts, allow lease dates to be reused if a tenant has chosen not to proceed. So just gives you a little bit more flexibility. I'm going to show you the customizable data capture fields. This is a much loved feature from Gateway, and we've reimagined it in cloud. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek of that. End of financial year, there's a lot of work that's happening, just in preparation for July. So we'll be back here presenting what that work is in more detail. Mobile apps, we just continue to make Console Go a more and more powerful app for you. Bills workflow, which is high on our product priority list. So I've got work underway to, just make that particular workflow more powerful, save you time, and basically simplify the flow for how you manage bills and payments and on charging tenant invoices. And user experience, ongoing work. You saw some of the stuff that's happening with the property page. We talked about where that's going, but there are other pages within the system that we're looking to simplify, streamline, and invest in to make sure that you are getting a modern platform that's up to date with current technology. We're going to duck into the sneak peek. This isn't live, so this is actually a prototype. So I'm just going to click through it. And we call this custom data. So in Gateway, what was the term?
Custom tabs.
Custom tabs. In Gateway, it was your custom tabs for our Gateway customers. This is just a product that gives you more flexibility within the system to capture information that, is probably valuable or is valuable, but it doesn't have a natural location within Console Cloud today. So the first thing to do is actually set it up. And you can see you can set up these custom data caption options on a contact, a property, or a sale. And it all starts with a container. So you actually set up a section, and I've got this section requirements profile. And you can see that that sets up the section. And then within each section, you can add fields. So I'm just going to add a single selection, put in some options to select. And you can see that that's now a field within this section. And look, this will just quickly add a whole bunch for me. So you can see that I've added underneath my requirements, 9 fields, and I've got some other sections around waiting lists, summaries, and it's really up to your business and your imagination on what other additional information you want to capture around a property or a person. And you can do the same thing for a property and the same thing on a sale. So we'll go into just the property list and just show you how that appears on a property. So if I click on my property, I'll now have a custom data tab. And that custom data tab has, here's the fields and here's the values that have been attached to each of those fields. So again, really useful, additional information that you can now start capturing around a property. what else is useful is you can all export this information. So I'm just going to select all these properties, and I can export all of that information, and all my custom data information will also be there. For the more advanced users, this information will also be available through the API. So, you can build other systems, no code, low code solutions off the back of these workflows. So that's really exciting. That's coming up for release, TJ, in the next, at the end of the next quarter.
That's right.
And, will be available to our clients. So hopefully when we're back in July, we'll be demoing that live within the system. Just go back to the presentation. Look, quick call out to our console awards. That's coming up. Congratulations to our finalists. Now, these are the people who, have submitted and, just highlighted, why they're highlighted their excellence in property management. So you can see that we've got, they're all named under each of these sections, but we have an award for the agency, the Excellence Award for our agencies, the Property Manager of Tomorrow Award, and a list of finalists, and our Innovation Award. A really, really excellent campaign, and we're really humbled by the feedback that we got through the submissions. And again, these are the types of businesses that are helping to drive Console Cloud forward, looking to how we can do things better and, improve the product so that our whole customer base can benefit. So those awards will be announced on the 28th of April.
Coming up soon.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck.
TJ,
there's still a lot of people online. I can see the Q&A has been lighting up. Do you want to take any?
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through the questions here. I can see there's a few around the invoice arrears and not being able to see that in the product. So as mentioned, that's coming soon. So once it's released, then it'll be available to everyone. Invoice arrears in particular is a premium only feature, so you'll see that, but everyone else will get the new arrears workflow that Emma demoed. There's a question here around what's going to change now that Console has been acquired by Rebit. So Matt, do you want to take that question?
Yeah, so thanks. We probably didn't touch on the presentation. Look, it's business as usual. We're really excited about the acquisition. We're still, management within Console still has ownership. Macquarie still has ownership. It's frequently asked question that I've been receiving. And our private equity partners still have ownership of Console, or still shareholders within Console. The reason why it's exciting is we can just continue to invest heavily into our product. And I think that's really important. For those who've been on the journey with us for 4 years, we're really proud of what we've been building. We take a lot of feedback on board, and we've been, delivering a product that we consider best in market. We're not staying still. And again, I think especially some of you who are online who've been on other solutions, you can see that, without that investment, without that enthusiasm to continue to improve, like the product just stagnates, and, you're back to just being on a server-based technology, just in the cloud. We keep taking the product forward, and as well as taking Console forward, there's access to new products that we're going to make available to our customers that's going to streamline your business and help move your business forward.
Absolutely. Just looking at some other questions here, probably the other one worth mentioning is around commercial. So there's a question here is, when you're looking to add more updates to the commercial module?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We're actually going to run a separate webinar for our commercial clients and just talk about our plans for commercial. So we are currently engaged with our customer base. We have a lot of commercial clients. It continues to remain a really important focus for Console Cloud. It's something that we're doing better than other cloud-based solutions. And, again, just talking to the future investment, we're going to come back around and make further enhancements to that Console Cloud commercial module that, sets our customers up for future success.
Thanks, Matt. I think those are the more outstanding questions, so we might end it there.
Thanks, TJ. Thanks, Em. Look, guys, there's a lot of questions that are still open. On the back of this webinar, there'll be an email sent out. So that email will contain some tips to get further information about the roadmap, what we've delivered this quarter, as well as upcoming webinars. And I can't wait to be back here in January, just touching on what we've been building this quarter.
That's right. And also we are sending out a link to a survey at the end of this webinar as well. So please have a look at that survey, and it's to help us in prioritizing our future roadmap. So voting your top 10 feature requests. So this is a great opportunity for you to give us your feedback directly, which goes to our product team. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We'll leave the webinar running just for a little bit longer just to answer these questions. So thanks for your participation. We really appreciate you giving us the time to chat through what we've been delivering over the last 3 months.
Thank you.